Hi there, and welcome back to another edition of Gray Hair and Tattoos. My name is Lonnie, and today I'm going to show you my tattoos. And the reason I'm going to show you my tattoos today is because I know one of the comments that you hear a lot is, what are your tattoos going to look like when you're older? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what my tattoos look like today. I am 57 years old, and I got my first tattoo when I was 30. So one of these tattoos is 27 years old. I have continued to get tattooed from that day. I have more than I can count, and I'm not done yet. So let's start this tattoo tour. Let me show you what they look like, and I'll give you a little story behind each of them. So the first one we're going to look at here, this is my first one that I got. I went to a little biker shop out in the desert. It was me and my sister. We both decided to get our first tattoos. So I got barbed wire around my ankle. And to me, this represents, I was getting out of a bad marriage, and I was feeling trapped, and I was feeling like I wanted to represent a feeling that I never wanted to feel again. So I got the barbed wire. It looks today very much like it looked back 27 years ago. I've had it touched up once, oh gosh, probably 25 years ago. And I've just left it alone ever since then. Now, people ask me a lot, are you going to get this covered up? You know, it is by today's standards, probably not along the lines of what I'm getting. And the answer is always no. I love my first tattoo. I love what it represents. I love where it has gotten me today. So this tattoo is going to stay on me for the rest of my life, looking exactly the way it is. I am working on an American traditional calf sleeve with Austin maples. I showed it to him. He thought it was perfect. He's going to work around it, and I couldn't be happier. Now, the next tattoo I'm going to show you is my shoulder tattoo. I got this tattoo in honor of my sister back in 2007. I got it on the 1-year anniversary of my sister passing away, and this is her memorial to her. Now, this particular placement on this tattoo gets a lot of sun exposure. You know, this tattoo has seen a lot. I have covered it, not covered it up, but I have added more color to it once, and it's on my radar to add some more color to it soon. I don't think there's anything wrong with adding more color to your tattoo. It's the longevity of what I want my tattoo to look like. I think as I age, if my tattoos fade, I'm going to put color back into it. This one is no exception to that rule. So I got this tattoo and I absolutely loved it. When I got this tattoo, I had no idea that it was going to lead to a sleeve, but this is where it's gone, and that leads us to my next tattoo. So the next tattoo I got was on the 2nd-year anniversary of my sister passing away. I had more added to the outside of my arm. I had the vines go down a little bit farther. I added a couple more flowers, and then I added the blue. So again, just wanting to build on that first tattoo, on the memorial to my sister. It was basically, again, my entire outside of my upper arm right here. I completely tattooed it. So that was in 2008. And I left it there for a while. I didn't do anything more to this particular area because fortunately I didn't lose anybody in the meantime, so that stayed there pretty much. Now the next tattoo I'm going to show you, I got in 2006, 2007, and sometimes I've had these tattoos for so long, it's hard for me to remember exactly what year I got them. But this is one of the few, I only have 2 cover-ups, and this is one of the cover-ups that I've gotten. Now this tattoo right here started out just as a heart on my inner wrist, and it was both of my boys' names in shape like a heart. Now the lettering was very small, very tightly put together, and it didn't last. It did not last the way that I wanted it to last. So I had it incorporated into my tree of life. It worked out perfect, and I absolutely love it. So that heart that I got in 2007-ish, again, one of my very few cover-ups, I turned it into my tree of life and I absolutely love it. Now, if you are sitting there and you're like, yeah, you know what, I have a couple of tattoos that I'm not really certain if they're gonna last the test of time, you know what, great, who cares? You can incorporate it into something else, as I just showed you right here. We get this stuck in our minds quite often that a tattoo has to remain exactly like it looks the day that you get it. And you know what? Here's a little kicker for you. Here's a little headline news. You're not going to look the same for decades to come. And you know what? Chances are your tattoos are going to change a little bit also. You have that option. You have that right to either keep them and let them change with you, or you can add to them. You can cover them up as I did the heart. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules in tattoos other than make sure you like what's on your body. So enough of that. My next tattoo I got was when my dad passed away. Now this one is a little bit harder for me to show you just because of the placement. I got this one in 2012 and it was the entire underarm part of my right arm. Now this one is definitely one of the more painful spots that I've been tattooed, but I absolutely love it and I'm glad I put it there for him. That right there was I knew then and there that I was going to end up with a sleeve. You know what? I already had that part of my arm done and I just decided to go with it. So as you can see here again on these close-up views, you know what? It looks today like it did back in 2012. I don't have bleeding. It's not blurring. It's not unrecognizable. And this tattoo is almost 10 years old. So I'm trying to prove here to you all that your tattoos are gonna look good for decades to come if you properly take care of them and you get a good tattoo. So the next one I'm going to show you, was for my dog. Her name was Freedom, and it was just a beautiful lettering that I found, and I put it around my wrist. So I had the beginning of my tattoo up on my shoulder, and then I had the ending of my tattoo on my wrist. Again, this one sees quite a bit of sun, just like my shoulder, and I think that the lettering has kept. Again, there's no bleeding. It's not unrecognizable. It looks today like it looked back then. Probably this one is 11 years old, 12 years old. And I'm just, again, I think that I have no regrets. It looks great. Trying to lay this myth aside, letting you know that your tattoos are gonna look great. Love it. My little doggy paw is still there. Everything's good. Happy I had it. Now the next one I'm going to show you. The next one I'm going to show you is when I absolutely finished my arm. I finished my arm when my mother passed away in 2016. So it's going to be right at 5 years that I will have had my complete sleeve done on my right side. I think that compared to the tattoo done in 2006 to the one done in 2016, you can't see the difference. There's no noticeable difference of like, wow, one's really old and one's not really old. If done properly, your tattoo will look fine. You don't have to go in and do a complete sleeve right from the beginning. You can add to it as the decades go on, as the years go on, again, if you have the proper artist. So that is the finishing of my sleeve, from the very top flower all the way down, adding the color to my wrist tattoo. The wording, again, 5 years later, no blurring, couldn't be happier. My tattoo, I think, looks fine. Again, let that idea go of it's not going to look good when you're older. Hopefully I'm changing your mind and your tattoos are going to look fine. So now the next tattoo I'm going to show you. This one is one of my older tattoos and my little Hello Kitty. Now this one I got in 2007, 8, probably about 2010. And I love my Hello Kitty. I love my Hello Kitty because what you can see here is she's holding a skull. And I got this one because I got so tired of people judging me for the way I looked with my tattoos that I'm like, you know what? You're looking at me and you're judging me for my outside, but you have no idea what's going on the inside. And every time somebody would come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, my daughter would love that tattoo. And then they'd look at it a little bit closer and they'd be like, she's holding a skull. And I'd be like, yeah, you know what? Everybody has a dark side. And they're all like, oh. I'm like, do you think your daughter would still like the tattoo now? And I never got a response from that one. But that's one of my favorite ones. That's a little story and the meaning behind that one. And again, this one looks exactly like I got it back when I got it. So now the next one I'm going to show you is my sun and moon. And the reason I'm showing you this one is probably five years old. But this one has a lot of very fine line work. This one is very detailed. And a lot of times we get told that these fine line tattoos are not going to look good when you're older. This one sees sun. I do wear sunscreen, but this one has seen some sun. And the fine lines, as you can see here, are not blurred. Again, I'm 57 years old. They're telling you that when you're my age, your tattoos are going to be a blurry mess. You can see right here, these fine lines are pristine. They look good. So you can rest assured, if you take care of your tattoos, your fine line tattoos will look good. And again, if they don't, you can do something about it. You can change them. You can cover them up. You can do whatever you want. You have that right. So now my entire black and gray arm is approximately anywhere between, 7 years old. Probably the oldest one was about 7. I'm still adding to it. So anywhere from 7 years, and my oldest is 7, so backwards. And I think my lines are holding. My flowers are looking good. The color is staying. Again, there's no blurring. There's no way of not seeing what they're supposed to be. I absolutely love them. Then the last thing I'm going to show you is my hand tattoo. Now my hand tattoo is just about a year old. And the reason I'm showing you, my hand tattoo is about 2 years old. And my hand tattoo is a year old. Gosh, you know what? I am getting old. I can't even remember dates. But my hand tattoo is about a year old. And the reason I'm showing you this is because a lot of times people will tell you that not only are your tattoos not going to look good when you're old, but they're going to tell you you cannot get tattooed when you are older. So my hands are probably where my skin is the thinnest. And I always wanted a hand tattoo, but I was very hesitant about getting it. And I didn't want to get a tattoo that wasn't going to be good quality, and I didn't want to get a tattoo that was going to blow out. So I trust my artist, Brian Dell at Dedicated Tattoo. I trust him immensely. He took a look at my hand. He's like, no, Lonnie, we can do it. It's not a problem. I can do this with no problem. And he did it with no problem. Those are hand drawn on, and the rose has taken. The lines, great line work, hasn't blown out. Nothing is blurry. I'll be keeping sunscreen on it. I will be babying this one because, again, my age is 57. It is in the sun, and I am perfectly aware of my body changing, and I'll just be a little bit more careful with this one. So that one, again, is just to let you know that not only will your tattoos look good when you are older, but when you are older, you can still get tattoos. So that was it. That is basically my tattoo tour. I do have more. I just didn't show them all to you, but that was, I thought, a fine representation of what your tattoos will and can look like when you are older. So please let those comments just go in one ear, out the other. You know, I don't understand what the obsession is with trying to tell people with tattoos that they're not going to look good, but hopefully this has made it a little bit more comforting for you, knowing that they're going to look as beautiful as they are today. So as always, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you have, by all means, please hit that like button. And if you would like to stick around and hear about what I'm going to talk about next, you can hit that subscribe button. Now, if you're like, wow, she's pretty cool, I want to hang out with her on a daily basis, you can do so here on YouTube, or you can follow any of my social media platforms, and they are Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Spotify, Pinterest, Facebook. You name it, you can find me as Gray Hair and Tattoos. And I always say, if you'd like to join me and my sons as we talk about life on our podcast, we're in trouble now. New episodes come out every Monday on Spotify and iTunes, or you can click on the link below for other forums that it will be on. So I hope you again enjoyed today's episode. By all means, please tell yourself something nice. And until next time, I will see you then.